You might have heard of a process called the euphemism treadmill. We start off with a word considered rude or unpleasant. People start to use a politer, more sanitised word to avoid it, but eventually everyone knows that the politer word means the rude word, and it becomes rude itself. So people use a politer word to avoid it, but then that word becomes rude, so people use a politer word to avoid it, and a cycle of euphemisms forms. Something similar happens in the Xerxes language, but the motivation isn't politeness, it's fear. The most basic word for fire is khuskaə, a verb that means something burns. When you use this word, you have to name something that's burning, and that makes this word dangerous. There's a goddess in the sky who listens to what people say, but doesn't look too closely. If you say something about the world and it's convincing enough, she'll believe you, and what you said will become true. So if you say something is on fire, then it will be. If you stop saying it's on fire, it will go back to normal, but the effects that the magic object has had in the world will remain. If the magic fire burnt anything, or set anything else on fire, even when you stop talking and the original fire stops, those things will still be burnt, or they'll still be on fire. In some ways this is very convenient. Xerxes never need to make and carry around flints to start sparks with, and they don't need to worry about sitting around in the cold trying to start a fire. They can just say khuskaə. But it makes it really hard to talk about fire, because if you do, something will burst into flames. The Xerxes need to talk about fire fairly often, because they believe that fire is life. They've noticed that smoke rising from a fire is similar to the steam that rises from people's breath, and they've noticed that certain parts of the body are hotter than others, and that when an animal dies its body goes cold. They've reasoned that there is a fire that burns as long as people are alive, roughly where the liver is. So fire is a very important thing to be able to discuss openly in terms of medicine, health and mythology. And this is where the euphemism treadmill begins. Xerxes people start to use a different word to mean fire when they don't actually want any fire to happen. This is fine for a while, and this word spreads through the Xerxes and replaces the original word. But the goddess learns, and she realises that when they say this word, they really mean to say khuskaə, so something gets set on fire. And then Xerxes people start to use a different word to mean fire when they don't actually want any fire to happen, and so the treadmill turns. The euphemisms used for fire vary by region, and many different ones will be used at a time. The Xerxes don't want to wear them out too quickly. Some of them are verbs like the original khuskaə. For example, suta ankusaə, which literally means to dye wood black, or khuskaə, to play the crackling noise instrument. There are also some nouns that refer to the flames. There's nemulesa, the hungry light, akrantha, the red hunter, and mimhu, the little sun. And there are even more complicated ones, such as kekefantara nemakrantha, the hungry hunter who plays the crackling noise instrument. As time goes on, the more simple euphemisms are learned by the goddess, and they drop out of use. More complicated euphemisms are longer lasting, because the meaning is more obscured, and because the Xerxes have problems pronouncing them consistently. But it doesn't matter if they can't say it quite right, as long as they can understand it, and the goddess can't.